Hello and welcome to the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series live tonight for the Daytona Duels here from Daytona International Speedway. Qualifying night for these drivers as we get Season 4 of the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series kicked off. Apologize for a bit of a delay there. We lost power right before the broadcast started, but we are up and going, and hopefully it stays that way. These drivers out here now trying to put their qualifying lap times in. They'll have 2 laps to put in their fastest time. From there, they'll figure out where they're starting in the heats. 40-lap heats. There will be 2 of them to determine the starting lineup for the Daytona opener next week on Tuesday night. Thank you so much for joining us here at V-Speed. And once again, so thankful to be back with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. Looking forward to a great night of racing. And I hope you guys enjoy the ride as we're looking on here with Jeremy Miller going out here on his first flying lap. We'll bring up the qualifying ticker so you can see where your favorite drivers are going to line up in the heats tonight. A few drivers on track. There are a few new drivers in the field. Some old drivers here as well that have stuck around since the beginning. I know we've got potentially a good look here at the number 46 machine, who's got a bit of an interesting hood design. We were used to seeing Dallas Sullivan running with a cat on the hood or somewhere on the race car, but tonight's car featuring not his cat, but Alan Dice's, and so far Dallas Sullivan, the fastest car on the track right now with a lot of cat power under the hood and on it. And the 46 currently quickest in his first flyer. Second lap usually is what's going to determine your position in the field. Jeremy Miller, who was out here early, on his second lap now. And Jeremy, one of the new drivers here in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, but you're used to seeing him run on Wednesday nights in the Virtual Racing League. A few of those drivers making their debut over here. Zach Carr, another driver who's very fast and won the practice race the other night, as he currently takes the top spot and then rolls the car. Maybe not as happy with that lap as he thought, as there goes Keith Milder. Now Jeremy Miller goes back to the top. It's the 30 machine with car racing designs on it. He'll take over that top position. Seth Hatchell in chat, cheering on the V-Speed drivers who are here. Quite a few of them, actually all of them returning this season. Let's see if we can find a couple of the new drivers as well. Garrett Wolfenbarger with this season's presenting sponsor, Shenandoah Shine, as well as the Xfinity Series Martin Sports, the presenting sponsor of that one. We got Mark Beverly out here with REG Customs, another one of the new sponsors to the series, and you can see some of those sponsors down there in the bottom right of your screen as they scroll past. But so many great sponsors coming on this season. As Ryan Gemmel now to the top spot. He'll take the V-Speed number 6 with a new paint scheme up to the top of the board right now. But Garrett Wolfenbarger, just 20 thousandths off of him. Take a look at anybody else still on track, putting a lap time in. Michael Newman returning again this year. Anthony Pelican moving up from the Xfinity Series back into the Cup Series. The dialed-in racing machine. He will go 16th quick with his lap time. Angelo Ronis, also from the Virtual Racing League. He is currently 19th quick after his laps. AJ Stravato, champion of 2 seasons ago. With a number change to number 33. You'll see him run that on Wednesdays as well in the Virtual Racing League. And speaking of Virtual Racing League, here is Reggie Ortega, the owner of the Virtual Racing League. He's going to be running Tuesday nights in that Virtual Racing League machine, number 22. You can find him running around track here. Andrew Stacy moving up from the Xfinity Series as well. Waiting on pit road to get a lap time in. As we have most drivers with lap times Jacob Houston, Andrew Stacy, and AJ Stravato yet to complete both of their laps, but everybody else has completed at least 2. As Stravato on his second flyer. Actually, this is just his first lap in the familiar waste management machine. Wasn't able to defend his title last season, losing out to Seth Hatchell, but finished second in the points, nearly going back-to-back, and he did win the most races last season. As lap number 1 goes on the board, he is 37th out of 38. Gonna look to improve here on lap number 2. But I'd like to run through some of the sponsors again, just to let you guys know who is presenting. And I actually have to bring in my co-host. Hey Zach, you got me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Not too bad. We're live right now. Last of the qualifiers coming across the stripe here. How's it going for you?
Just glad my food didn't burn and I got it down in my system in time before the start of the race.
There you go. Yeah, we were having some power issues here. I lost power about 5 minutes before we were set to go live. Luckily, it came right back on, but had to get quite a few things set back up. But should be a fun night of racing here with these couple of heat races.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the start of the season. It feels like it's been forever, but it's only been about 3 or 4 weeks since we've last been live, and I think the drivers are going to be very aggressive tonight. They don't have much to lose, and they have a lot to gain, so I would like to see a lot of hard racing tonight.
Yeah, definitely going to be racing for those starting spots next week, and don't know exactly what the strategy will be with the 40-lap runs. I don't know if they'll have to pit. I think they'll be right on the edge of making it. Although I think they're coming into tonight with 65% fuel, which is a bit lower than they started with last season. I know they were up in the 80% range for a lot of last year, so that could throw a curveball at some of these guys.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll have to pit if it goes green the whole way. And the big part of when it goes green is you want to try and get hooked up with your teammates if you have any, or just someone you want to work with in general. Because if you're by yourself down on pit road and you come out by yourself, you're going to be stuck in losing the draft. So it's all about teamwork here tonight and who can work the best together.
Yeah, we saw a good example of teamwork. It was last Wednesday. The Virtual Racing League. You were in that one, and you were a big part of what made the teamwork happen with Toyota Racing taking the top 3 spots. Yourself kind of pushing those guys back into contention kind of cost you a shot at the win, but yeah, that one came down to fuel strategy as well, and so maybe we'll see kind of a similar situation in tonight's race.
Yeah, teammates are very important, and unfortunately, I didn't get to finish with my teammates the other night, but I did help them, and sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, I think Connor would have been out of contention. So you basically got Connor the win. I think that's that was huge, and definitely something to be proud of there to get your guys up there on the podium. Just 5 minutes left here in qualifying. I think we're pretty much waiting for a couple cars to head out there. They may be starting from the back. So we're going to cut to a quick intro, and we'll be right back with the starting grid. Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors. Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn one. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey. The most challenging issue veterans face is reintegrating back into civilian life. This is increasingly hard with combat veterans that have witnessed the brutal environments of war. The issues they face include the sense of not having a purpose, the lack of camaraderie, and no longer being on a team. Adrenaline Therapy's mission is to bring veterans out of their element and introduce them to the fun and relaxation of the off-road. This is a way to help make these veterans feel a part of something again. This is what we call adrenaline therapy. In doing so, our goal is to help eliminate the 22-a-day epidemic of veteran suicide. Learn more by visiting outlawdesertracing.com/adrenaline therapy. And back at the racetrack here at Daytona, waiting for the last few seconds of qualifying, and we did get 38 out of the 40 drivers to take a time, and definitely going to be an interesting night of battling here in these two dual races, 40-lap races. Looking like they're probably going to have to pit at some point, but the top two qualifiers, Ryan Gemmel and Garrett Wolfenbarger, are going to be locked into the show in first and second, so congrats to those two for taking the front row in the season opener next week. But starting off here in heat number one, or duel number one, let's go through the starting lineup. If we can get to see these cars on track. Not sure if this tool is going to work for us. Nope, it is not going to, so we're going to have to go through one by one. I'll go through the top 10, and from there you can take it. Let me pull this up. Starting on the pole here in Duel number 1, it's going to be Ryan Gemmel, who is locked into the show on that front row. Congrats to him. Starting second, it'll be AJ Stravato. Third is going to be Mark Beverly. Fourth will be Keith Mayato. Fifth will be Bradley Wilson. Sixth will be Chris Samard. Seventh will be Dennis Faircloth. Eighth will be Eric Lambert. Ninth will be Eric Hutton. Rounding out the top 10 tonight, it is going to be Nick Starling, the number 2 machine.
And starting in 11th, we have Angelo Horonis. 12th, Lyle Sulfridge. 13th, Reggie Ortega. 14th, Brett Sommers. 15th, Robert Gilmore. 16th, Jeremiah Vincent. 17th, Dennis Steele. 18th, Timmy Emanuele. 19th, Tony Baird. And then 20th, rounding off the first heat, is Andrew Stacy.
And so 20 drivers here in heat number 1, and we should have 20 in duel number 2. As the field gets rolling off, it looks like Tony Baird will be starting from the pit lane. He was not in the actual grid, but actually in his box. So he'll be starting on the back foot. We'll have to see how he keeps up, or if he gets back into contention somehow, but not going to be a good way to start things off. You'll be at least a half lap down right from the get-go. So Gemmel, Stravato on row number 1. Not much different than what we saw necessarily last season. Those two top contenders in the early part of 2021 in season 3, and in season 4 starting it off here right on the front row of duel number 1. And let's take a look at the weather in tonight's race. 83 degree air temp, 85 degree track temp. So definitely a cooler night here, and really tires not going to be much of an issue. And they may not even change them at all on a green flag stop. If they do pit under yellow, they may get another set of tires thrown on there, but we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But ready to get things kicked off for Season 4 in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, presented by Shenandoah Shine. Field working out of turn number 4. Always exciting to get these seasons kicked off. A lot of great drivers in tonight's race. Some new faces, some old faces. It'll be some great racing. Here we go. Green flag in the air from Daytona. We're back underway in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. As the field working back up to speed now down the back straightaway. Gemmel with a bit of an advantage, but now Keith Mayato giving a shot to AJ Stravato in the high groove. He's coming back here into turn number 3.
And momentum's going to be so key here at this track. It's very difficult for that outside line to get established and get good runs. So if they can do it here early and get back down to that bottom, that'll be a big advantage for AJ.
Yeah, AJ's going to have the lead at the line. Gemmel down low. Has Mark Beverly in his mirror. Those two aren't teammates, but now Gemmel with his teammate to the outside. Stravato does drop down low. And Mayato, you can see the loss of momentum right away without anyone in front of him, but here comes his teammate, Chris Samard, pulling up behind him. And fun fact about that race car, that paint scheme is reminiscent of his dad's paint scheme, Dave Samard, who used to run super modifieds here in the Northeast. And that paint scheme an homage to the Epping Express. So cool to see that car on track here as the top 2 now pulling away a little bit from the rest of the field.
Tandeming is a very big thing with these new Cup car package for the restrictor plate races, even though they're not restrictor plate anymore. You can really pull away with just 2 cars if you're locked onto each other's bumpers. The only thing you have to look out for is what your temps are going to be like.
Yeah, and Ryan Gemmel is very good at these super speedway races, and AJ we've seen in contention usually at the end. He's usually not up here at the start, but the whole purpose of tonight's race is to win it. And here comes Mark Beverly with a big shove from Bradley Wilson, who's a driver who we've seen in the Xfinity Series and now coming up to the Cup Series. And they've got very different schemes on those machines. The offset numbers Going to be very different and noticeable here on track. There goes Eric Lambert to his inside. And Nick Starling, who changed from the 99 machine now to the 2 car. Going to pull up behind him. So the outside line not grouped up, and they are fading. And here comes Dennis Faircloth now working to the inside in that Simulators Anonymous number 80.
And you can see just how desperate at some points that 51 car was to try and get back down on the inside. Almost caused a wreck trying to get back down there, because being stuck outside by yourself, you're really going to lose a lot of track position.
Yeah, he gets in line now behind Reggie Ortega, and there goes Nick Starling now going to jump to the high side, and nobody goes with him. But he is about to get freight trained, maybe try and work the side draft here and try and slot in, but I don't see anywhere to drop down in line for quite a ways back. The first opportunity might be behind Jeremiah Vincent, and he is just dropping like a rock right now. There's that opening alongside. He will shoot the gap, and the 15 of Mark Beverly in there behind him, who lost all those positions as well. And now a car working the side draft. That's the 39 of Timmy Emanuele, who's going to move up a position over Brett Sommers. And they have gone single file pretty much here among the top 15. We did see a car start to peek out towards the front. That might have been Eric Lambert, who rides in 4th. But yeah, single file for the moment, 6 laps in. And I don't blame him, still a long ways to go.
We've been noticing this a lot more now with the Cup cars at super speedways, is that they just get single file very quickly. There's not an advantage on the outside as much as there was, unless if you're side drafting very aggressively. And when it comes to iRacing and side drafting, it's a matter of if you trust your internet connection to hold up, not if you trust the other driver as much. So just trying to keep it clean and get single file and hope you can make a move towards the ends.
Yeah, in a way, an internet connection kind of replicates the air movement, and how in real life you can kind of get sucked up next to a car if you're too close, or that car can kind of get sucked into your car. If you're even, maybe a foot away, you can still make contact here in iRacing at times. As we see Timmy Emanuele and Brett Sommers, the side draft, working very well for Timmy. He has slowed down that group massively, as they have dropped well off the pace of this lead group, and Timmy still losing ground up there in the high side by himself. Oh, trying to slot in line there. That's not going to work.
He might lose the draft here. He should keep up with it, but they're pulling away very quickly. Unless if there's a checkup for them or they start racing, Timmy might lose the draft. But it looks like he actually just got set back up. And we mentioned earlier Tony Baird starting off in the pits, and things not looking too good for him as he's by himself just running around hoping for a caution. That's going to be the only thing that saves him and gives him a chance at finishing up front tonight.
Yeah, he is already 27.5 seconds back. Andrew Stacy, who Timmy Emanuele almost ran into as he was trying to get down in line, that knocked Andrew out of that pack, and he's already 8.5 seconds behind. And so those are a couple cars that are going to be hoping for a yellow flag here shortly, but the way they're running really doesn't look like that's going to happen. Single file among the top 12, and everybody else a little too far back, and even their single file. Nick Starling has lost some ground here for this lead pack. Not sure what happened to Nick, but he is now 1.5 seconds behind. And he's up there in the high group. This is definitely interesting. He might be trying to wait up for that second group to catch up, and they are closing quickly to the number 2 machine.
Yeah, once you get by yourself, you need partners. It doesn't matter if you're 2 seconds in front of them or 2 seconds behind them. You got to find someone on this track in order to maintain speed. You got to have someone, or else you're going to go a lap down very quickly.
And now Brett Sommers jumping up high. He's going to make way for that is Robert Gilmore. Chris Samard got shuffled all the way back into this pack, which is a bit surprising. He was up there towards the front. Right now in 15th as they catch up to the back bumper of Nick Starling, and he latches on to that group, no problem at all. And they'll all ride in line now about 6 seconds behind the race leader, AJ Stravato, continuing to show the way with Ryan Gemmel in his wake, and the rest of the top 12 have broken away all within 3 seconds, and Mayato actually has lost the lead pack now. I'm not sure if he's trying to fall back with his teammate Chris Simard, but Mayato dropping back as well.
Yeah, very interesting. I know teammates are very important here, and you want to pit with people you can trust, but to not be with the lead pack and be multiple seconds back, you're not going to make up that time on pit road unless if the lead pack messes up. So very interesting strategy call possibly for Keith, unless there was just some incident that we missed.
Yeah, I don't know exactly if he was on the tail end of the pack. I don't know if the aerodynamics still work like they used to, but it used to be very difficult to keep up with a single file group like this if you were the last car. I don't think that's really the case anymore, so he probably made an intentional decision there to drop back the way that he was fading, as we saw some side-by-side with Lyle Sulfridge, Jeremiah Vincent, Mark Beverly, Bradley Wilson were all going side-by-side up here, and that has slowed them down a little bit, but they continue to pull away from that second pack.
One big thing here is, as the leader of a pack, you use more gas than anyone else in the pack because you're typically flat out the whole way while everyone else is checking up due to the run. So AJ might be the first person running out of gas here, so he's going to definitely be communicating with some people up in that lead pack, trying to figure out when they should pit and if they can make it to at least lap 20, because they definitely want to make it to halfway at the very least.
Yeah, they have to get to lap 20 and at least top up from there. They don't have to take tires. If it was me, I wouldn't take any tires and try and coordinate that with as many people as possible, because you're going to have the shortest pit stop, and the tire wear is not usually an issue other than getting back up on the racing surface. That could be pretty tricky on the older tires, but once you're up to speed, it's usually not a problem at all. We'll see what these guys do, who's working together, who's not, and how this group gets split up even further, as they have pulled away by now 8 seconds over Keith Mayato, who leads the second pack. And yet again, those two stragglers, Andrew Stacy and Tony Baird, 18 and 38 seconds back respectively. Definitely interesting to see how this has played out so far. I didn't expect a second pack so far behind, but maybe these guys know something I don't, and they're thinking they might be able to stretch it or something like that, but we'll have to find out. 8 seconds is a lot to make up on a super speedway, if not impossible.
Could be hoping for a wreck. So that's the main thing. When I lay back at tracks like this and I'm multiple seconds back, which I never like to be, if I'm trying to miss a wreck, I try to be maybe a second back of the main pack, so that way you can still be in their draft and stay up with the lead pack. You don't want to lose it, because if they don't end up not wrecking, all you do is you end up shooting yourself in the foot. One thing that I've been seeing a lot of recently is the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent and the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge. They've been pulling out when they have a decent run on the inside line, and at one point the 70 did gain 1 spot but had to pull back in because he would have lost it. So if they could possibly get another car working with them on the outside and time that run perfectly, they could gain a couple spots potentially.
Yeah, they're trying to make that move right now as the 9 and the 70 go high. Right alongside Mark Beverly. We'll probably see a little side draft right here in effect. But no, Jeremiah's staying about a car width and a half off of the 15. They are making a little bit of ground from this angle, but not enough. Definitely not enough. They didn't really make much there, actually, as the 9 gonna maybe drop in line here. Yes, he will. And the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge gonna go right there with him. But I don't know, could you hear any discussion on the track? Anybody talking to each other out there?
There is no talking whatsoever between the drivers right now.
That is interesting. We're going to be getting into pit stops here probably in the next 5 to 10 laps. Some guys going to cut it short. I'm sure some guys will go as long as they possibly can and try and minimize the fuel load that they have to take to the end. And here's Tony Baird out in front of the lead pack. He is losing ground hand over fist. Lap time last time around 48.4 to the leader's 46.1. 2.3 seconds slower on your own rather than being in the draft like this. And again, the 9 and the 70 trying to make the outside work. just have not been able to do so, and that's going to burn some fuel on the 9 car as he steps out of line like that.
Unless if they have enough fuel to make it to about lap 21 at the very least, I don't see anything wrong with what they're doing, as they do get a good run on the 15 here and get a little bit of gap, and that lap car is going to help them pull up a little bit, so they might be able to do something here. I just don't see it much happening, as the 9 cuts off the nose of the 15 and leaves the 70 out to dry.
Yeah, that was a close call right there. I saw Jeremiah shoot all the way to the bottom and even overshot it a little going on to the, or below the double yellow. Didn't make a pass using that, but that is, I'm not sure if they outlaw that here in this league, you know, based on the name of the league, but probably not encouraged to do that. As here now we see Reggie Ortega jump to the high side in the Virtual Racing League machine, but he drops right down back in front of Bradley Wilson, the 51. Another driver up here in the mix, Angelo Ronis, who has had a pretty good season in the Virtual Racing League. I can't remember if Angelo made the playoffs. I think he may have missed it by a point or two. I don't recall exactly, but having a good solid run so far right now in 6th, and we see some staggering happening behind him as Jeremiah Vincent still trying to make up ground, using the high side, kind of leapfrogging or slingshotting, and he's made up a couple spots. And also Tony Baird has caught the back end of this line, so that is going to be good for him. He won't lose nearly as much ground with the draft like this.
I've been watching this 9 car trying to work around the 51 car, and the 51 car has been making me very nervous as I've watched what's been going on. He's been coming up off the corner and after it, as the 9 almost cuts off the 70 there. That was very close.
Yeah, you can see how much that car sucks right back up to the 51. He was right on his bumper headed into the corner, and we'll see what he does here down the front straightaway. And he'll jump outside again, trying to get to that quarter panel. He's going to give him a bump here in the tri-oval, which is definitely
Dangerous
risky.
place.
Yeah, he is not centered on that car in front of him either. Jeremiah Vincent trying to make some moves, maybe just trying to feel out this car and understand what he needs to do to make a pass on someone. As again, the top 12, or rather top 11 in this lead group, with Tony Baird on the tail of it, then Keith Mayato, Nick Starling, Robert Gilmore, Chris Samard, Timmy Emanuele, Brett Sommers, Dennis Steele in the second pack. And they are still about 9 seconds back, so they haven't lost much as they're running single file for the most part. But Mayato maybe burning some fuel there. It looks like, though, they're past halfway, so they should be good to go. And I expect pit stops here in the next 5 to 10 laps. But again, it should be split strategy. Some guys sooner, some guys later.
I would definitely want to try and not pit with a big group. You want at least 3 people, at the bare minimum 2, but 3 or 4 is honestly a really good number. And when you have that many people coming down the pit road at the same time, you're bound to have a mistake and slow each other up. As I just did hear the 6 of Ryan Gemmel talking to AJ, asking what possibly lap they might want to pit here, but with no response. I just hear now the 70 Lyle Silverton, they're all pulling down at the same time.
Oh, the 80 of Dennis Faircloth. He's going to shoot way wide of the entrance to pit lane. And oh, the 15 of Mark Beverly with issues as well. And that is a big concern of pitting under green like this. What happened with Mark? Oh, he just was hard on the brakes. We almost had contact between Jeremiah Vincent and Bradley Wilson. As, yeah, big issues for the 80 and the 15. Oh, Brett Sommers as well, as he was on pit lane. Almost overshot the entrance there as well. But the second group, now the lead pack. Only 5 cars still in or on the racetrack. We'll see if they come down this time. And if anybody got penalties there, we know Dennis Faircloth and Mark Beverly for sure should have gotten penalties. At least the 80, he is serving his penalty right now, and this is going to be devastating for him. He'll have to hope for a yellow flag or something of that nature, as here come the rest of the cars. And Mayato really pushing, but nice and smooth. Now locks up the brakes. He may have gotten a speeding penalty. That was very close.
And you can see that pack got really spread out. Right now, the 3, the 88, and the 51 are the ones closest together. There was a lot of different strategy going on there. I saw AJ Stravato take 2 tires, and I saw Angelo Hronis not take any tires, and then a lot of people, some taking 4 like Ryan Gemmel, and you saw Ryan lost a lot of position. So they're going to try and make up the time here, but they all are somewhat close together, so they should be able to link up and catch that 17 of Angelo.
Yeah, Angelo Hronis taking no tires. I don't think Reggie took any tires as well. He may have taken 2. It was a 9.7 second stop. And if he did take 2, that's a fantastic pit stop from that crew. But you see right in front of them now, the 80 of Dennis Faircloth will be on the tail end of the lead lap. And other cars coming up onto the racetrack now. Nick Starling in this second pack, they did not cycle out very well. But Nick Starling winning the battle there. Mayato took 4, Samard took 4. That may not be a winning move here tonight.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is that taking 2 tires, you don't really lose too much time as you have to get the tank full anyway. So taking 2 tires is honestly never a bad call, unless if you're doing short fuel, then you don't want to take 2 tires. But it gives you a little bit extra grip coming off of pit road and maneuverability when you're back out on the track. So good call to take 2 there as you don't lose too much time.
And now we see Reggie Ortega and AJ Stravato going to swing to the outside of Dennis Faircloth, who goes a lap down to the 17 of Angelo Hronis, and Angelo able to hold off the 22 and 33. So good job there, as now he'll cycle to the race lead. Who are the next cars in line? That's Eric Lambert, Eric Hutton, and Bradley Wilson, 4th, 5th, and 6th. They'll have the lap machine of Dennis Faircloth right in front of them. And then back to Jeremiah Vincent and Ryan Gemmel, who will be running 7th and 8th. And then it is 5 seconds back from there to Lyle Sulfridge, who is paired up with Dennis Steele. And Tony Barrett is right there as well, but Tony again off the lead lap. Currently last place in 20th. But 25 laps so far, no yellows. And it is definitely broken up from where we started.
Unfortunately for the 6 of Ryan Gemmel and the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent, they've lost the draft. I don't see them being able to catch up. It's going to be very difficult, and they're going to have the lead pack make a mistake if they want to have a chance at catching up. But with 2 cars, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, definitely losing ground right now. It was 3.5 seconds into turn 3. Now at the stripe, up to 4 seconds behind the race leader. And they are just continuing to lose ground that time past the line. A second and a half slower than Angelo Hronis, who again didn't take any tires and has inherited the race lead. 15 laps remaining, and we've got 6 cars up here in the lead group in contention to win this thing. So yeah, I don't know. All these other guys, they're going to have a yellow to get back in it. We see Nick Starling back there kind of leading this third group as Dennis Steele, Tony Barrett, and Lyle Sulfridge are right in front of them. That'll end up being probably a 7-car pack. And they're just too far back now, 10, almost 11 seconds behind. They are making up ground, but there aren't going to be enough laps left to make that kind of space up.
Yeah, the only thing that can save them now is a caution. And I know Dennis is going to be hoping for a caution as well. Unfortunately for Tony, unless if he can somehow get by the 80 of Dennis, he won't be getting the lucky dog, and I highly doubt these leaders will be pitting.
Yeah, they're actually coming up on the lap machine of Andrew Stacy. He'll go a lap down here as well, so he'll be in the lucky dog position. And Dennis Faircloth has lost that lead pack. He may fall back here with Jeremiah Vincent and Ryan Gemmel, and that might help them stay up to pace, but already 5.5 seconds behind. It's going to be nearly impossible to catch up. They're just hoping. I mean, Gemmel already locked in on the pole position. He's just probably trying to help as many people as he can and just have a nice solid run and understand the strategy for the big race next week. As there's Dennis Faircloth, he'll drop in behind them now. 3 cars in a line. About 5.7 seconds back now as they exit turn number 2. Moves will start to be made, I'm sure, probably in the next 4 or 5 laps. We'll see guys trying to leapfrog and take the top spot. We'll see some guys probably wait till the last couple of laps, but it's going to get very interesting here very quickly.
That second big group with Nick Starling and Lyle Solfridge, they're starting to get too wide right now, and they're getting pretty aggressive with their pushing. They're going to try and, I don't know if they're thinking, hey, if I cause a caution and get through it, I actually have a shot at this, because right now they have no shot at winning this.
Yeah. Going to be very interesting. Look at this now back here. These two packs have collided. Nick Starling goes to the outside, bringing Timmy Emanuele, Keith Mayato, and Chris Simard as they try and get around Dennis Steele, Tony Baird, and Lyle Solfridge down low. But the inside line, even with just those 3 cars, still doing a solid job, though. Starling able to get on past the 28. He's going to probably wait till the 39 clears with him. Those two good friends, and probably working together. And then, of course, Simard and Mayato going to be working together in the V-Speed machines. Interesting to see this. They're not gaining time doing all this, but now the outside really overpowering the inside, and they're going to go right on by the 28 of Dennis Steele and the 98 of Tony Baird. And Lyle Solfridge tried to join him, but he did not get up there in time, and he's still going to be at the tail end of this line. So this will be a battle for, it looks like 9th through about 15th, 9th through 14th, so 18th through 28th in the actual race. So not going to be great starting spots by finishing back there, but of course starting is not the most important. It's where you finish in that big Daytona race.
Starting in the back at Daytona is definitely not one of the worst things to happen to people, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially if we've got fuel mileage as a concern potentially. You can save a lot back there. Just got to make sure you're not too far back of the leaders when it comes to go time. And 10 laps remaining in this duel. Things have been very smooth so far. Just 2 lead changes, no cautions. Right now it is Angelo Ronis, Reggie Ortega, AJ Stravato, Eric Lambert, Eric Hutton, and Bradley Wilson, the top 6, over 5.5 seconds ahead of Jeremiah Vincent, Ryan Gemmel, Nick Starling, Timmy Emanuele, the top 10. Kind of waiting for these guys to start making moves. I know they don't want to wreck either. Well, again, yeah, starting position is not the most important. I think there is a bonus potentially for winning these dual races, though, so something to race for. Of course, you always want to go out there and get that checkered flag.
Good confidence booster, that's for sure. Being able to come out here preseason and take a win. It's all about momentum in this sport, and if they can have momentum going into the first race, hey, I won last week at Daytona, I can do it again this next week. So
yeah, definitely a confidence booster. These races are hard to win. It may be the hardest kind of race to win in all of sim racing and all of real world racing. Just how chaotic and how close the cars are together. It really requires a certain skill set, and it's almost like 4D chess, just trying to figure out what you need to do and when you need to do it to be in the right spot. But these guys have
sometimes skill isn't even enough. You need luck on your side. That's a big contributing factor to your Daytona winners for sure.
I guess that'd be the 4th dimension of 4D chess. You do what you can with the 3 dimensions, then hope for that 4th one. But yeah, these guys, they've had everything on their side so far. No mistakes on pit road. Good pit times, good pit strategy. They've been linked up this whole second run. And some key things to note for the upcoming season. There are going to be some format changes from what you saw in last season. Instead of 3 stages, we're running just 2 stages. So they'll have a stage break in about the 3rd mark of every race. And they're going to be running a lot less sets of tires and lower percentage of fuel. There's going to be a lot of strategy all season long in these events, which is really going to make for some wild finishes, some unexpected winners, I'm sure. And I know some guys aren't so happy about it, but I think it'll be pretty interesting. I know it's going to take some getting used to in both the Xfinity and Cup Series.
Having less tires and less fuel, it really, like you said, it makes you think more. It makes you have to strategize more. Unfortunately, it kind of stinks when you're driving and you have to make these calls because you have a million other things going on in your head at the same time, and then you have to think, okay, should I come down this lap? Should I come down next lap? How much fuel should I take? How much should I save? You start asking yourself all these questions and you get distracted. So it definitely puts another contributing factor into entertainment.
Yeah, you basically got to act as the crew chief and the driver, which imagine if they did that in real life. We would see a ton of massive mistakes and real world implications, of course, being a bit more serious than here in the sim world. But it is kind of a luxury of not having all those forces and the heat and all those elements on you. You can maybe think a little bit clearer, and you've got more information presented to you here in the sim. So it is a little easier to make those calls and decisions while you're sim racing than in real life, for sure. But 5 laps to go. Strategy out the window at this point in this race. And the top 6 still well out in front, and the rest of the field has synced up now. At least from, I'm looking at Jeremiah Vincent on back. They're all linked up here, from Jeremiah Vincent back to Dennis Steele. And then it's a little ways back to Lyle Sulfridge, and kind of the stragglers way in the back. But too wide back here in the second pack. That's not going to be effective for gaining time, but effective for gaining spots potentially.
Yeah, you gotta take whatever can be given to you at this point of the race if you're in that second pack. Being aggressive, if you bring out a caution from being aggressive, it is what it is. You might go to the end of the pack if there's a penalty for it, but hey, you're back with everyone else. Now you're together. You can have a chance at winning. At this point, there's really no shot of winning unless if everyone in the top 6 wrecks coming to the checkered flag and they don't cross the finish line before you do.
Yeah, and these guys are gaining about a half second a lap right now, that's really good. That's some significant pace for the second pack. But right now, it's just too few laps. 3 laps to go. Angelo Ronis up the road 6.5 seconds. They would need 13 laps. They need 10 more than what they have right now to ever even get close. And these guys are doing exactly what they have to do up here, staying single file. Though Bradley Wilson jumps to the high side, and here goes Eric Hutton now making the move to take the 5th spot. And those two a little bit separated from the top 4, so they're going to have to hope they don't lose the draft anymore and start to fade back. But now they catch up out of turn 4. 2 laps to go in dual race number 1. Angelo Ronis and Reggie Ortega making their debuts in the Cup Series, and they are doing a fantastic job in those cars up here at the front.
Yeah, they did a great job getting down pit road nice and clean, getting linked up together to stay up at front and with the lead pack. Can't ask for much more other than possibly a win tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's any loyalties up here other than potentially AJ Stravato and Eric Hutton, those 2 teammates in this league. Reggie, I don't know if he's on a team or not. We'll have to see if he's got anybody out here willing to help him if he starts to make that move. Eric Lambert up here all by himself. No more Simulators Anonymous cars in the top 6. White flag in the air. 1 more to go here in dual race number 1. And nobody has made the move. We don't see anybody really waiting and dragging the brakes. Is now Reggie Ortega right to the back bumper of the 17, looking, not making the move just yet. You can tell he's trying to get Angelo up out of the groove, and it didn't work. Now Eric Hutton goes up high, but no help there. I don't think anybody's going to have the speed out of turn 4, but here comes Reggie Ortega trying to close up. Not going to be able to do it now. Jumps outside. Angelo all by himself down low. It's going to be a drag race. Photo finish. Angelo Ronis at the line. What a drive. The 17 wins dual race number 1 by 5 1/1000ths of a second. Right there at the close. Go back and check that one out in slow-mo. As Angelo Ronis winning over Reggie Ortega. Look at that finish. So close right there Great job by the 17 and the 22 as they will finish 1-2 in dual race number 1. So Angelo Ronis, Reggie Ortega, Eric Lambert, AJ Stravato, Eric Hutton, Bradley Wilson, Nick Starling, Keith Maiato, Timmy Emanuele, Chris Samard, Jeremiah Vincent, and the results have flipped over now. So we're going to dual race number 2 as these drivers getting ready to grid up. Heading to my scoring. Let's see where these guys are starting in dual race number 2. Starting on the pole in this race, it is going to be Garrett Wolfenbarger, who qualified second overall. He's locked in on the front row. Just hoping for a good run in the dual race. He'll start first. Jeremy Miller rolling off second. Nick Gardner starting in third. Zach Carr starting in the 4th position. Dave Ferris starting in 5th. Josiah Vincent going to be starting in 6th. Joshua Abbey starting in 7th. Cody Adkins starting 8th. Anthony Pelican rolling off from 9th. And Dallas Sullivan, that 46 Cat Machine, rolling off from the 10th spot.
And starting in 11th will be Michael Newman. 12th, Alexander Pelican. 13th, Nick Alves. 14th, Alan Dice. 15th, Jordan Brockel. 16th, Zach Smith. 17th, Jordan Shepler. 18th, Joey Mines. 19th, Clint Leatherwood. And in 20th, to round off Heat 2, will be Jacob Houston.
So another 20 drivers in this one. And should be another good race. We'll see if we get a finish as close as that first one. That was crazy. Great finish there by those guys.
Yeah, Reggie really did pull out at a good time, considering he had no help behind him really on the outside as AJ was trying to get by him. If AJ pushed him just a little bit there, he would have had the win. But Reggie did time that fairly well, just not good enough to beat Angelo to the line.
Yeah, I mean, 5 1,000s, that's about as close as you can possibly get without winning. So I'm sure he's going to be pretty excited about that finish in general. That's just fun racing there coming to the line. Nobody wrecking or anything either.
And this second group, they got to watch everything that just happened in that first race. They can take and learn from what just happened and say, hey, like, maybe I shouldn't take 4 tires on pit if we get a green flag pit stop. Maybe we should try and form an outside line later on in the race to try and beat the leader to the line. So a lot can be learned after watching that first race.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like the track is pretty much the same, maybe just a bit more rubber down. So we'll see what happens here in race number 2 underway from Daytona. Drivers fighting for that second row in the race. And right now, Garrett Wolfenbarger, he's losing the front spot in this run, with Jeremy Miller trying to get by on the outside. Jeremy linked up pretty well with Zach Carr as they push forward. And now to turn number 2, it is going to be the 30 machine with the run. Josiah Vincent also in the mix here. We haven't seen Josiah in a while. Don't know if we saw Josiah in really the second half of last season here in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, but good to have him back. Had a very consistent 2020 season, was in the Final Four. Didn't repeat that success last season, but was in the playoffs, and he's hoping to get back there again this season. Across the line, Jeremy Miller leads lap 1 here in dual race number 2. They are a little bit wiggly towards the back of this pack. I see Jordan Shepler struggling to stay in line with Zach Smith as they get synced up.
Yeah, they were pushing each other through the trial oval, and that's never, ever a good idea. Zach Smith almost smacked the wall, but they managed to keep it straight and keep it green.
Yeah, now pretty much single file except for towards the back here. Look at that is Zach Smith making some big moves going around the outside there. Good job by him. He gets up to 11th, going around Joey Mines and Jordan Shepler. He had a lot of pace up there in the second groove. He's going to try it again down on this end of the racetrack. Going to the outside of Michael Newman. Gets a little side draft working there on entry. But no help right now. He's going to stall out. And that Duels machine down low may be opening the door for him to get back in. But he's got a teammate now in Jordan Shepler behind him. Dallas Sullivan, Alan Dice as well up there in that second groove. pushing pretty hard to keep up. And that's a little bit sketchy right there. 46 way up the racetrack, now goes all the way to the bottom row. And now goes back to the high side. So these guys not too set on one specific lane right now. When you getting a feel for these race cars, we've got side by side up towards front. Safe Ferris on the outside of Nick Gardner, the 16. Fun fact, Nick Gardner, he runs the 16 as he's blinking out right now. He actually works for Colleague Racing in real life. He's got one of their new sponsors on the race car. Oh, big push there from the 5 of Wolfenbarger. Almost an incident with Safe Ferris to the outside. But this
you were mentioning how he is with Colleague Racing. That's very, very cool that we have drivers that are actually a part of NASCAR in real life doing this stuff online with us.
Yeah, and we've got the Pelicans in the field here too. They're actually part of Thor Sport in the truck series, so those guys at the racetrack pretty often, and definitely you can see some of that experience of just being there and being around these drivers and these crews and just motorsports in general. They are very solid drivers, all of them very fast in the Xfinity series, and now the Pelicans moving up into the Cup Series this year. But they are trying to just get single filed out here as the top 4 have broken away entirely with Jeremy Miller, Zach Carr, Josiah Vincent, Garrett Wolfenbarger, the top 4. Yeah, 1.3 seconds now back to Nick Gardner, but if they get settled out here in single file, they can catch back up, no problem.
And this is what happens when you start getting aggressive and make a bobble like that where they almost wreck. You do have the possibility of losing the draft, but they got linked up together very quickly and are closing back in on those leaders.
Yeah, 3/10 gain just in that set of corners alone. And once you're within about, 7/10, I say you start getting a sniff of the draft in the car in front of you. If you've got a push from behind, you are all good to go. Look at this, they're already back in line with these top 4. They might even try and make a move here.
It's very interesting how when you're so close together, it's almost like there's this little bubble that's hard to break and get to the other person's bumper unless if they lift. But when you're 7/10 back, you get sucked up so quickly to the car in front of you, you possibly leave the cars behind you in the dust.
Yeah, and that is definitely working for these guys right now. The draft, full effect on the top. Let's see here now. Safe Fair is really the outlier here. He's at the tail end of this lead group, 16th. Single file nose to tail. And oh, there's a checkup right there. Jacob Houston, Jordan Shepler. Now Houston into the wall. He's going to be very slow out of turn number 4. Big damage as well. And Jordan Shepler also with damage. That really checked them up. Very close call. Let's go back and take a look at this. This almost ended in disaster, but great job by the 11 machine to hang on as he takes it down pit road. And perhaps maybe even calling it a race. Up here at the front now, Zach Carl looks to the outside of Jeremy Miller, now drops back in line. And Zach, in our practice race last week in this series, he dominated and got the strategy perfect. Ended up finishing, I think, 2nd in the first stage and ended up winning the race by a good margin over everybody else. And I ran behind him a little bit, and you could just tell he's got this car figured out. And that was at Nashville Super Speedway, which is definitely a tricky track. So he is going to be a threat this season and already running well in heat race number 2. Now this lead pack a bit smaller. Alan Dice the tail of this first line, and then Jordan Shepler 3.5 seconds back with a little damage. I don't know if that's going to slow these guys down. Jordan Brackel in this pack back here, Zach Smith, and there goes Jordan up to the high side. He may be giving way, knowing the damage is hindering the progress of this second group.
Yeah, he just went on the mic and said, "I have too much damage to keep up with you guys. I'm holding you up. Please just go around me." And Safe didn't hesitate. He said, "All right, see ya. Bye."
Yeah, we'll see if they just stretch away from the 13. He's already about 6 car lengths back. Hoping to just catch that draft and be able to keep up. But not going to probably be a competitive car in terms of winning the race. Looking for some battles. I don't see anything just yet. All single file like we saw in race number 1. But we'll go through some of the comments here. People watching, cheering on. We had people cheering on Eric Lambert, Mark Beverly. We've got fans cheering on Jeremy Miller. And then the 32 of Wolfenbarger, as well as Joey Mines, the 20 car in this race. Got fans out there in chat. All is calm right now, but as I say that, car jumping to the outside, that was Wolfenbarger. He dropped back in line, but maybe overheating. That's always an issue at this track.
Yeah, you do have to manage your temps here if you're right on someone's bumper. A good way that a lot of these drivers do that is on the straightaways. They'll peak out a little bit and have about half of that front end showing clean air, so that way they can suck up some of that and get their temps down and then push again for a little bit. And you do see some of these cars doing that also.
Yeah, I see the 32 and the 16 kind of up half a lane, and then the cars around them trying to get some of that clean air. Oh, and here goes, that's the 5 of Joshua Abbey. Looked like he was going to make a move. He had a good run there, but no help from behind from the Pelican brothers. The dialed in machines, nice looking race cars, a new set of schemes for those two. And another interesting thing about the schedule this year, there's going to be, I think, 5 or 6 different theme nights where drivers can run some special paint schemes, and there'll actually be a competition to see who gets the most votes for best paint scheme, and they'll win, I think it's $10 each time. So incentives to bring out good looking race cars week after week. And theme nights are pretty cool too. It's 90s throwback, 80s throwback. There's a Thanksgiving, Veterans Day, college football team night, also like a favorite driver night. So those are going to be interesting to see and really mix up the appearance of some of these cars. And we've got some great painters as sponsoring the series this year as well. SP Designs, and REG Customs. Those are all definitely helpful in presenting great race cars here on the track. And there are a lot of really nice schemes. And I know Dennis Faircloth, another member of the league, he does some fantastic work. A lot of his cars are on track right now. So expect to see cars looking better and better each week too. Some of these guys who maybe don't have schemes, there's plenty of resources within the league and sponsoring the league. That's always a fun part of sim racing too. You can change those up pretty often.
Yeah, props to the people who make those paint schemes. I have no clue how to do it, and thankfully I know someone who does them for me and makes them look good, but it takes time and energy, and it's going to be cool seeing new paint schemes out there, as a lot of people do tend to stick with the same one throughout the season, unless if they're possibly having bad luck. And it's going to be cool those nights where we have those themes and we can see these drivers who have people who make paints for them, or they make their own paints, put a different talent on display.
Yeah, and definitely can show a little bit of their personality as well through the car they're in. That's a great part of sim racing too. You can kind of throw whatever you want on there. You're not really trying to comply with a NASCAR rule or something like that. I know leagues might have some regulations, but these guys are very creative in this series. And we've seen some really fun paint schemes like what you see on Dallas Sullivan, featuring Alan Dice's cat on the hood. I mean, where else are you going to get something like that?
Yeah, you don't too often see animals on paint schemes. I know that a couple of drivers like Kyle Busch drive the pedigree car, and they'll throw a dog or cat on there, but those are the model dogs. They're not some friend's cat or dog on the hood. So there's like you said, there's a personal touch to these, and it really helps and makes the league its own at times.
Yeah, and it looks like it says "Get well soon, Jazzy." So I wonder if Alan's cat's sick, but hopefully she gets better. But yeah, definitely not a model cat photo. It's just like a candid picture of the cat. It's really interesting. But Dallas is known to run extremely unique paint schemes, and he's been recognized on some big-time broadcasts too for having, some very creative schemes. So fun to see that out there tonight. Out in front still, Zach Carr showing the way, kind of like what we saw from AJ Stravato, or actually rather Jeremy Miller in front, Zach Carr right behind him. And the Car Racing Design sponsoring both of those machines. So Zach doing the work there, it looks like, and he's got the top 2 spots on the track.
And we're only a few laps away here from a green flag pit stop opening up. Their pit window is going to be opening up soon, so that's where things get tricky. We saw it happen last time, and a couple people made big mistakes that cost them possibly a win. So they're going to be taking that into account and trying to have a clean pit stop here in the upcoming laps.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd just try and be conservative, make sure you don't overshoot the pit lane, and don't get speeding, because that'll instantly take you out of contention. You've got to be clean on pit road. You can try and push it as much as you want, but that's when mistakes start to happen. We're taking a look at a driver, the number 5 right now, Joshua Abbey, who 2 seasons ago won the season opener at Daytona and is very strong at these super speedway races. So keep an eye on him as he runs in 6th spot. Try and make some moves here, maybe before the pit cycle starts or right at the end of the race. Definitely a driver to watch out for. And right now, all 19 drivers running are on the lead lap. Jacob Houston did take it behind the wall with that damage. And everybody still kind of grouped up together. We've got 13 in this lead pack, and then 4 farther back. And then a couple more stragglers. That is Jordan Brockel and Clinton Leatherwood, who is new to the series.
I'm wondering, since it's going to be a bigger pack this time than what we saw last race in the first duel, if they're going to be a little bit more split up, or if they're going to come down at the same time like they did last time.
Yeah, we saw really one group. Yeah, it was the whole lead pack pitted, and then the second pack pitted. And it's about the same amount of cars in pack number 2 in this one, but that first pack definitely 3 or 4 more cars, so there might be a split down the middle. But you can see those Car Racing Designs machines out front pushing pretty hard through the corner, trying to get as much as they can. And we've got the 29 on pit road, Leatherwood getting out of the way and going to get his pit stop out of the way. Right here at the halfway mark. 20 to go, 20 down. Nice and calm up here in this lead group. For now.
Yeah, that can all change in a very quick moment, a blink of an eye. For sure, the Daytona is a very dangerous track, high speeds, and one wrong move can cost you the race. And I just heard on the radio that the 20 car of Joey Mines will be coming down pit road this time.
Yep, about 50-50. Yeah, well, 5 cars from this lead group. Oh, and Joey's going to overshoot the pit road, the mistake we just talked about. And the Mountain Dew SA still trying to get that car under control out in the grass. He's going to get a penalty for that. He may not even be trying to bring it onto pit road because he completely missed it. Yeah, he's just trying to limp it through the grass and not get a penalty, but he's basically penalized himself by doing this. Also, big overshooting of the box there. Anthony Pelican missed his stall, and he is going to miss out on this group of drivers. So 2 mistakes straight away on pit stops. Not what you want to see.
And I think I just heard on the radio that the lead pack will be coming in this time or next time. It looks like it's next time. So they're staying out a little bit longer than that first group did. possibly have a little bit more fuel at the end. I'm not sure, but they did pull away and they've been able to keep it straight in that. Other group did have a little bit struggles on pit road, so if they can keep it clean and keep it straight, they'll be able to pull away even further.
Yeah, this group is kind of split into two. We saw there were like 3 cars at the back. That includes Cody Adkins, Nick Alves, and Alan Dice. They weren't able to catch up to these top 5, and they're losing a little bit of time now, 2.5 seconds back. But if they play their cards right, they might be able to get back into this lead group. They're just gonna have to have a perfect pit cycle. And here we go, top 5, now top 8 coming down. Looking for mistakes out of these drivers. Top 5 get in there nicely. Nick Alves pushing the issue, almost gets the inside wall. Behind them, here come some other drivers. Safe Ferris really locking down the brakes. But it looks like all of those guys get on pit lane nicely. Still Jordan Brockel yet to bring it down, but here he comes. He is well out of contention. And Nick Gardner now leading this group, who's already pitted. They're going through 3 and 4 right now.
And Alan Dice with a lot of trouble on pit road. That 24 car was on the inside of him and actually was pitting afterwards. And Alan overshot his pit stall and just couldn't get it straight. So now he looks like he's just taking a little bit of gas and going to try and stay on the lead lap. But he's going to be by himself now. And that is a very costly mistake. And it's going to
Really
basically take away all of his chances.
Yeah. Dallas Sullivan stayed out another lap, so he's going to pit by himself. He's going to try and bring it in here nice and smooth. Locks it up just a little bit, but not too bad at all. And look at this. Things going to get mixed up pretty well as Nick Gardner and the Pelicans getting synced back up. Well, actually, that is the
Anthony
21.
Pelican actually went down a lap. He got caught speeding on pit road. He had to hold.
Yeah, he missed his box badly too, so that must have been a big part of it. He was not paying attention and just drove way too fast. There's Dallas Sullivan. He's going to get blown right on by, but we'll have... Trying to figure out how many cars that is. About 8 or 9 in this lead pack if you include the lap machine of Anthony Pelican. The 29 of Clinton Leatherwood also a lap down. And the car right there trying to keep up. That is Garrett Wolfenbarger. He might be just outside the draft, though. 195 miles an hour, but the car's in front of him right over 200. He's going to have to hope that these guys check up pretty strongly here. And there's a few cars a little behind him, and Nick Alves, Cody Adkins, and Joshua Abbey. So they might be able to creep back into the picture, but these are the cars that were a little bit outside of it when the cycle started.
Yeah, it looks like they actually gained a little bit of time. They were 5 seconds back when they all started coming down the pit road, and another 3 seconds back. So if they can get linked up and push a little bit, they might be able to possibly catch up to these leaders, but 3 seconds is still a big gap.
Yeah, it's definitely a big gap. They're getting a little pull from the 32, and they'll probably absorb him into that little group. It'll be 4 cars versus 6 cars. And Michael Newman up here in this group, so he's having a good race. Michael ran a few races last season, and a driver from a couple seasons ago as well. Good to see he is back for season 4. But up here in the top 6, maybe hoping that he can get something done. But it is still
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's still Jeremy Miller, Zach Carr up here in front. So they played the pit cycle perfectly and have resumed those top 2 spots.
I've done a lot of racing with Jeremy and Zach and also Josiah Benson, but there's the nickname that Jeremy has amongst all of our leagues, and that's the Plate Goat. And he is pretty good at the plate tracks, and he used to be very, very dangerous at them as well, but he's calmed down as the years have gone by, as there's, I guess, a sign of maturity coming from him, as realizes wrecking isn't going to get you anywhere if you're trying to win these races. And Zach Carr also just a very great driver in general, so these two could be competing for a lot of wins this year.
Yeah, Zach with got a 5,400 I rating, so definitely no slouch here on the sim. There's a handful of drivers this season, I think up over 5,000, so definitely an impressive strength of field and a huge range too. So there's going to be guys racing each other all throughout the pack, all the time. I think this year it's going to be a lot of fun to watch as they go right on by Joey Mines, who had his issues. He'll go a lap down. Currently, actually, this will be 2 laps down, it appears. Yeah, he'll be tail end of the lap cars, I guess. He is in 19th. Clint Leatherwood and Anthony Pelican right here in front of him, both a lap down as well. So he'll join up with them and try and get into that lucky dog spot. Such clean racing tonight. No cautions in duel race number 1. No cautions so far in this one. Going to be coming to 10 to go in a couple laps. 3 lead changes here. That's 1 more than last race. And maybe we'll see a couple more in the last few laps. But right now we've got 9 cars in this lead pack. 3 of them lap cars. Thankfully they are all at the back. So maybe not going to be trying to make any moves. Although the 99 might help the 21.
I was just about to mention that 99, he's out of the race in terms of finishing position, but his brother is right up there, and he could definitely push him and help him try to get further up.
Yeah, just 2 cars in front of him is that 21 car, the blue and black, dialed in racing Camaro. Between them, Michael Newman, who's basically a sitting duck. He's got no help up here. But he might be able to get some support from the 20 if they can get synced up. I think they're somehow associated. I don't remember if they're teammates or if they are satellite teams. There's a lot of those here in this league. And it's going to be fun. Full 43 car fields to start the season. You don't get that in a lot of leagues. You'll get like 30, 35. But we have 43 cars signed up for both the Xfinity and Cup Series. And I am super excited to get to the points racing and see how competitive all these guys are.
It's not normal for leagues to have that many people, and it's very exciting to have that many cars in a race. You really don't see it. You normally get around 20 to 25 people, so you're doubling what you normally have, and that can cause a lot of different things. Lap traffic can become a much bigger issue. You can have a lot more wrecks. You can have a lot less wrecks depending on how clean the people run, but having that many drivers really will make things more exciting.
Yeah, I think the short tracks are going to be very interesting. It's tough to say how many cautions we'll have at places like that, how many people will be in the field once we get to some of those. But to start things off at Daytona, there's plenty of room for 43 cars here. I've seen even more than that at this track, actually.
You could have 100 cars here if you wanted, really. It's such a big track, and you can get so spread out. You could be 3 wide the whole way around. You could fit so many cars in this track, but like you mentioned, Bristol, you can fit a lot of cars in the track, but you're going to be racing each other a lot. So it's going to be very interesting, like you mentioned, when we're at Bristol and Martinsville and places like that where it gets crowded.
Yeah, it'll get crowded with 15 cars there sometimes, let alone 30 or 40, as they put a lap now on the 84 of Jordan Brackel. Currently 16th. He's going to lose a few more spots and try and latch on to this lead pack. And the second pack, they have maintained right around 4 seconds behind. They're not losing time right now, but they're not gaining time. So they're going to have to hope for a big issue up in front of them, and those guys to really start losing some pace. But I think it's just a matter of numbers right now. There's too many cars up here in this lead group.
Yeah, it's looking like a repeat of the last duel, kind of shaping out how it was last time, except the lead pack, I think, is a little bit bigger than last time. I think last duel was about 6 cars, now it's 10, so we could see a little bit more development of an outside line with more cars, as people in the back will be a little bit more desperate to make their way up front.
And the lap cars could be trying to get back on the lead lap coming to the end. Here's Zach Carr looking up high, trying to get some air to the nose. 30 gives him plenty of room down low to get that air. And I kind of see what they're doing here. Zach gives him a shove. 30 goes in the corner with that push up the track, comes back down. Zach gets right to his bumper again. They have been synced up perfectly for now 35 laps. And we'll see if anybody can beat those two.
Right now, it's looking the only people that can beat them are themselves.
Yeah, it'd be a mistake or running into each other. And you said Jeremy can be a bit dangerous. I saw he made a move in the VRL race the other night. And, I mean, he really didn't do anything wrong. They all kind of ran into each other. Connor with the big block late in that one. But nobody wrecked, really. I mean, they all made it across the line right there. So we'll see if he throws any kind of blocks. Right now, they are all grouped up behind him. But he's got to anticipate some moves coming from some of those cars farther back.
I'm trying to remember when it was. They were talking about it at our recent super speedway. In real life, they were saying, like, where do you want to be coming to the last lap? I think it was like Clint Boyer, and then we're talking about that, and Clint's like, I want to be in the lead, like, I don't care, I want to be the person dictating it. And then Jeff was saying, like, I'd rather be in third because you kind of can dictate the moves. But it's tough. You really don't know what the right position is going to be. It's all about timing and what happens around you, and you're just hoping that things fall into the place.
Yeah, and you can get wrecked from any of those spots. It doesn't matter where you are. But how about this? The second pack, now just 2.3 seconds behind. They're closing fast now. 0.4 faster that lap. They may just get there, as they're maybe going to start to get a pull from Joey Mines in a few moments. This could be a much bigger group of race cars fighting for the win. It would be now 10 cars in the lead pack. Only car bouncing off the wall up there. That is the 29 of Leatherwood. He hit the wall coming out of turn number 2. Just went way too wide, and they are double file racing for it up here. Nick Gardner jumps to the outside. He's got Alex Pelican behind him. The 30 and 27 down low by themselves. They're going to be abandoned entirely. The 16 going to take the lead at the line. That's what we're looking for. When were they going to make their first moves? Is this too early to go? Nobody was able to make the move the right time in the last race. But here come the inside cars. Pushing nose to tail through the corner. Great run there, and Jeremy Miller will take the lead right back. They're really kind of snaky down the backstretch in that high groove. Josiah Vincent looks to the third groove now, and that is not going to work for him. They are not synced up. Those two car racing designs machines out in front, back to the point. It's like they said, you guys can go on ahead. We're going to go right back past you.
And the 20 and the 4 make contact right behind them, almost wrecking. They do a good job keeping it straight, though.
And here come those other cars. They're going to be at the very back of this group with 2 laps to go. They may not have a chance to win it, but they might be able to gain some spots if there's some carnage. And they're trying to shake things up back here. Josiah Vincent, car in the wall up there. That is the 32 of Wolfenbarger. That could check things up greatly, as now it's a top 5 car breakaway. Everybody else behind them, maybe a bit too far back at this point, 1.5 seconds. And we do have a lap machine in here. That's the 99 of Anthony Pelican. Might be willing to help that 21 to the win.
Yeah, the 5 car just pushed the 32 car a bit too hard and put him in the wall, and then the 5 car actually made a move below the double yellow and to make an advancement. So I don't know if they'll be able to review that afterwards, but that could cost him his position there, as he did make a move below that yellow line.
Yeah, and white flag in the air, racing for the lead now. It's Nick Gardner up high. Nick won at Talladega last season to get into the playoffs, and he is looking strong here at Daytona. Can't get the move done out of turn number 2. Now they're not synced up. They drop back down to the inside. It's still the 30 and 27 pushing hard, and we've got cars wrecking. Josiah Vincent, Michael Newman, and others, and that is going to break things up. But we've got the 21 of Alex Pelican, the 16 of Nick Gardner. They're not going to be close enough, I don't think. Doesn't look like Zach Carr is going to be close enough, but here he goes, looking to the outside. Jeremy Miller has the momentum. 21, or rather the 27, looking back down low. It's going to be a drag race. Jeremy Miller, 8/1000ths of a second in this one. Holy cow. 2 photo finishes in 2 dual races. That was exciting. And I feel bad for some of these other guys who lost a lot of spots late in the going, but that is how it goes here at Daytona. If we can go back and see that photo finish.
It was a really great move by Zach Carr to get down to the inside after Jeremy pulled up to block. And again, it came down to that third place car, whether or not they were who they were going to push. And Nick Gardner kind of gave that 30 car a little push at the end. And that really, I think, pushed him to the win. He might have still had it either way, but that definitely helped.
Yeah, that's as close as it gets again. 8/1000ths. Jeremy Miller, as you said, the plate goat, wins here at Daytona. The dual race number 2. Then Zach Carr, Nick Gardner, Alex Pelican, Nick Alves, Garrett Wolfenbarger, and others rounding out the field. So, don't know what we're doing here in this next session. We've got cars lining up.
I believe they said that the feature is going to be for the race winners to do their burnouts.
Oh, I see. That's fun. So top 2, Angelo Ronis, Jeremy Miller. Gonna be tearing it down here at the end of pit lane. We'll have to wait a little bit, so we'll go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the winners from the 2 duels and get a good word in with them. We'll be right back.
Simulators Anonymous is an online gaming community. The heart of this community is playing simulator-style games, everything from driving, farming, flying to the occasional survival game. We would love for you to join us. If you play these style of games, or if you're just looking for a great community, we strive to be a community you can be an active participant in by offering events like every third Saturday night is a late night trucking on Truckers MP. We have a very own Minecraft server with other servers starting soon. Come join Simulators Anonymous today at www.simulatorsanonymous.com.
All right, and back at the racetrack now. Going to be pulling in race winner from dual race number 1. Going to be Angelo Ronis. We'll see if we can pull him in here. Angelo Ronis, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, Angelo, what a drive there in dual race number 1. You win. You're starting in row number 2 for the season opener next week at Daytona. Give us a rundown of your race there and how you got it done.
Well, first I gotta thank my teammates Reggie, AJ, Eric, and a few others. We definitely controlled most of that race, and I wasn't expecting to take the lead, but I was able to get a really good pit stop right there at the end, and was able to put just enough fuel to make it, and came out the winner.
Yeah, definitely were quick there, and we saw a move late by Reggie. You were able to hold him off. What was your expectation there coming out of turn 4 with the lead? Were you gonna throw the block no matter what, or how was that gonna work for you?
Yeah, I was contemplating that, but I know how Reggie races and he knows how I race as well. And main goal was that both of us were at least going to finish 1-2. I didn't want one of us to wreck because of that, but it was definitely closer than I expected, but it just ended up better in the end.
Yeah, 5 1,000 separating you two, and a fantastic run by everybody all night long. No yellows in either race. And you're going to be starting right up towards the front in the opener next week. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for the dual win tonight?
Just want to thank AJ, Eric, Reggie, Jeremy, Zach, and I know I'm missing a few names, Josiah, Jeremy, and Lyle. And yeah, hopefully we can repeat that next week.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats again, and we'll catch you in a week.
Thank you.
All right, that was Angelo Ronas. We're going to be pulling up the winner from dual race number 2, and Zach, I believe you're with him.
Hey, Jeremy, this is Zach up in the V-Speed booth. Do you have a copy with me?
And 4.
Great job there tonight winning the second duel. You've earned yourself a nickname in other leagues as the Plate Goat, so you really earned it tonight and showed why you earned it throughout the other leagues. What was your strategy heading into this race tonight?
Try to get the lead and hold it, and just it worked. Had a great guy behind me pushing, Zachary Carr, one of the best guys on the sim. We worked together really well. Wouldn't have been able to do it without him, so I got to thank him. He's also a sponsor on the car Racing Designs. Check them out. Some really, really good paint work out there. And just all the other guys at the MS and LDR, just helping getting it done tonight.
Yeah, great paint scheme and a great pusher for sure, as he did help you stay up front all night, it looked like. And as a debut driver, your first race with BTDY below the double yellow, you come out with a win, and you're going to be starting up front in our season opener at Daytona next week. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good. I'm going to be honest. I know it's a long race. I don't really think the starting position is going to matter too much. I'm going to try to lead every lap just like I did here tonight. That's how I go about these plate races. I try to stay up front and lead as many as I can. It's usually what works for me, and I think the numbers have shown for themselves that I know what I'm doing at these places, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, that's for sure, and that's why we call you the Plate Goat. So we'll be looking forward to possibly interviewing you again next week and defending your title as Plate Goat. So good luck out there next week. And is there anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, obviously all my teammates. I want to dedicate that dual win to my grandmother tonight. So she's out there watching, and the rest of my family watch every night. I want to thank them as well.
All right, Jeremy. Well, thank you again, and we'll see you around next time.
Thank you, Zach.
All right, Jeremy Miller, winner of duel number 2. Great job by him to hold them all off there late in the going, and 8 1,000ths the difference in heat race number 2. So we were treated to a couple of fantastic finishes in those closing laps, and I'm excited for next week to get things kicked off for the big race. How about you?
Yeah, I'm very excited, and hopefully with double the amount of cars in the race, it'll be double the excitement as it was tonight. So going to be hard to get more exciting finishes after tonight with how close they were, but maybe a little bit more excitement during the actual race itself before the end. But I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to this season.
Yeah, definitely a bit more to race for with the stage in that race, as well as the fuel mileage being a concern. There's going to be some strategy, and it's definitely a lot farther to go, so guys are going to try to get as much of an advantage wherever they can. So I am looking forward to it, and as always, thanks for helping out up here in the booth. We want to thank all the sponsors as well as all of you that came out to watch. Thanks for tuning in here on YouTube. You can check us out at Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all of those different links there. We are live on Twitter for most races now, so you can tune in over there if you'd like, or right here on YouTube. And we do appreciate every single one coming out. And we'll catch you in 1 week with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series race from Daytona, the season opener, where these drivers will try and follow up their success from tonight, or try and improve and get some redemption for their mistakes tonight. So catch us then, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll see you all then.